Welcome to Imagine Your Life with Jenny Lynn. I am your host, Jenny Lynn McKinnon. I am so excited that you're joining me this morning. If this is your first time to join me, I welcome you. Be sure to watch my past episodes. That'll kind of catch you up on what we're discussing today. And I'm not going to go into who I am or the introduction. You can watch that, or some of you already know me. But anyway, send you my love and thank you for joining me this morning. So good to see you here on this show. I'm so glad. Today we're going to be talking about your subconscious mind and the laws that govern the subconscious mind. I know I keep kind of moving back and forth, and I'm going to lose these glasses. The subconscious mind, we have our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. Our conscious mind has 2,000 neurons. That's that little cell that fires every second that runs our conscious mind. Well, we have about 2,000 of those neurons in our conscious mind. That is everything that runs our five senses, is how I think of it, as the input system of the body. Everything we see, smell, taste, touch, feel. Well, that is the logical side of our brain. And then everything else is our subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind, we have over like 4 billion, who knows, maybe even more. I know scientists, I heard one comparison of every one cell in our conscious mind, we have over 1 million in our subconscious mind. It's also been compared to put this into a picture and a graphic, which just helps me to put things into perspective. The conscious mind is like a little teeny tiny ant, like a little speck on my screen, if there were a little ant. And that ant that's the conscious mind. The nerve activity of the conscious mind compared to the activity that's happening in your brain with the full-grown elephant. That elephant would more than, think of a full-grown elephant. It's huge. It would take up this whole office space and more from trunk to trail. So that is our subconscious mind. We are governed by our subconscious mind. We are either master of our subconscious or we are slave to it. And you get to decide. It's up to you. And I'm going to teach you today 5 laws that govern this subconscious mind, this elephant brain, as I like to refer to it as. And I want you just to put this in perspective, especially in the case of addictions, and we have addictive patterns happening in our brain. Habits are great when they work for us. Habits are awful when they work against us. The good news is that we can change our habits. And as we change our habits, we can change our life. Because I've heard it said in, I can't remember the breaking, oh my goodness, I had the book in front of me. When I remember, I'll reference the book. Anyway, we are governed by our habits. We get what we want in life by our programming. And where does our programming come from? Through our habits. And so we change our habits, we change our life. That's what I was trying to say. If you want to change your life, change a habit. Find one thing, choose one bad habit, and think, oh my goodness, I want to change this. Well, then you have to replace it with a good habit. You can't just stop the bad habit. That doesn't happen that way. You have to start a new habit. And the more that you focus on that new habit, then the old habit will start to fade away and die. And why is that? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. The 5 laws of the subconscious. Now, some of you out there that study the brain, that know a lot, know that there is so much that we're learning right now about neuroplasticity and how our brain works and nerves and these neurocells and that are amazing. The more we learn, we don't know. So I can say there are 5 laws to the subconscious, and tomorrow scientists might discover that there's 6 or 7. Or maybe they already have. But today we'll be discussing 5 laws of the subconscious. The first law is that the subconscious mind, this elephant brain, it only says yes to whatever we think, whatever we speak. It only says yes and agrees with us. Oh, we can use that for our advantage or against. It's all up to us. And in that it only says yes, scientists have discovered that between the power, the mind, the time that we have a thought, like if I have this candy bar in front of me, and oh, I love brownies. That's kind of, I love chocolate. I'm a chocolate girl, and I'm trying to just temper that habit. It's not a habit I love chocolate, and it's okay to love chocolate, ladies. Temper it. So you're having good chocolate. But if I have this chocolate brownie in front of me and it's sitting there and it's like calling me and I'm going to eat that brownie, I have 17 seconds is what scientists have discovered between the time that you have a thought, oh, I'm going to eat that brownie, to where your subconscious just takes over and then the brownie is gone. So in those 17 seconds, I see this brownie and I pick up the brownie. I think my first thought, because I'm on a very strict nutrition plan for my body. And I do that and I live with that because I've been very blessed with MS. And I know that I feel better when I eat and I feed my body pure and healthy foods. But oh my goodness, I do love brownies. My daughter brought me this beautiful brownie, and I look at this brownie. Well, I have 17 seconds to decide what I'm going to do with that brownie before my subconscious brain just takes over. And I think of it as the elephant brain because, so my conscious mind, I'm this little ant sitting on top of this elephant, and I have 17 seconds to control that elephant. There's 17 seconds. And I can choose. Now, I have created the habit that when I see something that I know is a trigger for me, like a brownie for me, and that's really simple. There's addictions of all kinds, and I work with them every day, and we can overcome. The same principle works with the brownie, the same as it works with those hard addictions like heroin, meth, fentanyl. There's anyone out there that's dealing with hard addictions, opioids. Opioids start so easy and simple. Know that this principle is the same. And you can use this principle for a brownie, or you can use this principle for opioids. When I say opioids, I'm meaning low, Lortab, oxycodone. There's a long, long, long list. So you have that 17 seconds to harness the power, the first power of that elephant. So in that, you can develop a habit. My habit is, I see the trigger, I see my brownie, and I breathe. That's 3 seconds. Slow, calm breath. And my brain kicks in, and then I ask the question, well, do I really want the brownie? Well, maybe just a taste. I'll just have a little taste of it right now, or maybe I'll save it for later. And I move it out of my field of vision and I save it for later. Maybe that's my treat. The brain works on a reward system and it needs rewards. It loves rewards. That's how our brain is wired, to want this dopamine dump that just brings calm and excitement and, oh, yes, I did it. I did it. Well, you can create that dopamine dump in that 17 seconds by just moving the brownie, avoiding and leaving the party, changing the conversation. Whatever it is, you have 17 seconds before your subconscious brain just takes over. And you can harness that 17 seconds and use it to your advantage. But know that your subconscious mind only says yes. And now I want to talk about mirror work. Because if you will look at yourself in the mirror, you're creating neural pathways in your brain. And I don't know a woman that hasn't dealt with self-esteem issues. And women, this is not just a women issue. This is men too. They just hide it better than we do. But when you look in the mirror and you tell yourself, I love you. I love and accept you. You are amazing. You are wonderful. And you're going to have a great and powerful day today. Guess what? The brain can't tell the difference between what's real and imagined. And so it just thinks that that's what's happening. And because the subconscious mind only agrees with you, it only says yes. Guess what? It goes, oh my gosh, you are amazing. You're going to have a great day today. And then the subconscious goes to work to make sure that you have a great day today. Isn't that amazing? That we have this genie in our pocket is what I call it, or a genie in my ear. Because that's how it is. The subconscious only says yes. And that is how we can move into manifestation and start to create the life that we do want. And it only says yes. So say yes to your life, the life that you really want. The more clearly you define what you do want in your life, the clearer you're going to be able to create that life, because the genie goes to work to make sure that you have a good day. Now, if you wake up in the morning, and with MS, ladies, I wake up every morning, I could find something to complain about with my body. And you know what? I've trained myself early on to start with a good day. And I have a saying on my wall, and it says, wake up, get up, dress up, show up, and never give up. And that helps give me courage to get up in the mornings and say, you know what? I am going to have a great day today. And I love my body right now. As it is, I love my body. And I am getting better every single day. Every day in every way. I get better and better. That's my mantra. And my brain only says yes to that. And so guess what's happening in my life? With MS, I just continue to get better and healthier by degrees every single day. I have not had any new symptoms for almost 5 years now with MS, and I'm in recovery. I'm always in recovery. Miracles, manifestation, all of it's real. It happens. And you deserve to live the life you love. And where it starts is only says yes and agrees with you. So you get to harness the power of your self talk. Now, that's law number one. I still got 4 more laws to cover, and I'm going to cover those very briefly. But you can see that I'm spending the most time on subconscious that only says yes and agrees with us, because that's the really the only choice. That's the only power that we have to control that elephant. Because think logically for with me for a moment. If you have this little tiny ant, this little speck, almost bigger than just a little bit bigger than a speck of dust, or maybe is this there's this little tiny ant sitting on top of this full-grown elephant. Is it even physically possible for that ant to control that elephant? Think on scientific terms. No, of course not. That elephant is going to win every single time. If your subconscious wants to go left and your elephant wants to go right, I just got it backwards. If the ant wants to go left and the elephant wants to go right, you're going right. And the only power that you have over your subconscious mind and how you become master of your subconscious mind is through your self-talk. And we use that law that the subconscious mind only says yes. We get to change our self-talk. We get to empower ourselves. You know, when you have a small child, and from 3.5 months conception, while we're still in our mother's wombs, and I know there's some pregnant ladies out there, and you're building that baby. Well, as soon as that brain is developed enough that it can hear and it can sense emotion, it starts making sense of its world and trying and developing their core identity about themselves. And in that core identity, it starts at 3.5 months conception. Mothers, you have so much power. From there until 7, 8 years old, sometimes even 9 or 10 or 11, depending on the situation, the child, the maturity of the child. That little brain is in a constant hypnotic state where everything that they hear and experience is accepted as truth unless there is a strong filter to change it, to say, no, that is not true. This is what is true. And the programmers of that brain become everybody around that child. And as a mother, you get to be the loudest voice, or a grandparent. I'm a grandma, and I love being a grandma. And I'm reminded every day the power that I have, and I'm influencing these beautiful 3-year-olds that I have. I only have 2 grandchildren right now, and they're so fun. But in that state, the subconscious only agrees. If you tell that child that they're beautiful, that they're wonderful, that they're a miracle, that they have a plan and a mission that only they can fulfill on this earth, they will believe it and they will start to act on that. If you tell a child that they're stupid, that they're dumb, that they don't want, that children are seen but not heard, that their voice doesn't matter, they will believe that too. Tell them they're ugly or fat, they'll believe that too. So we get to be careful with our words because words matter. And you get to know that you have the power to harness your subconscious mind because it only says yes and agrees with whatever you speak or think. So, congratulations and welcome to becoming master of your subconscious mind. All right, that's law number one. And I'll revisit that again at some point. But the second law, and I'm going to cover these next ones really briefly because next week we're going to be talking about these other laws in greater depth because I really want you to understand how you get to harness and manifest what you do want in your life. And I'm so appreciative of you joining me today because these are laws that I didn't know. When I was 20 years old, I didn't know. I was just acting. My elephant brain was going crazy and creating chaos and destroying my house, so to speak. Because an elephant in the house is not a good idea. But as I learned to harness the powers of my own subconscious mind to see how I was creating my reality, oh, sister's the most freeing and a magnificent day of my life because I can change and control the elephant. And I got the elephant out of my house where he needs to be in the yard, calm, being fed, and started to create the peace in my life. And everything changed for me. When I say everything, how I felt inside, how I felt about myself changed. I began to recognize my true value as a daughter of God, that I have a creator, that I am enough, that I have a mission and a purpose and a plan. And part of my mission and purpose and plan is to teach you. And so part of this perfect, imperfect plan of having these imperfect programmers is so that we can all learn and grow and begin to harness our own creative powers and our subconscious mind. Because you see, we are either master of our subconscious or slave to our subconscious. And when we recognize that life is a classroom, not a courtroom, that we are here to learn and to grow and allow others to learn and to grow, and that it's okay that life is messy sometimes, because life gets messy sometimes as we all are learning and growing and overcoming and manifesting. And my box bumps into your box, and sometimes they intertwine. And we get to separate the boxes. My main message today is that you can take control of those 17 seconds. Develop a new habit of choice. Breathe. When you first feel a trigger, when you first feel an impulse of I have to have that, I'm going, well, you have 17 seconds to breathe. There's 17 seconds. And as you breathe, you oxygenate your brain, you bring things back into focus, and you get to ask yourself, what do I really want? Do I really want that brownie? Or do I really want to be my happy, healthy, positive, new me? What do I want? I get to choose, but I only have 17 seconds to choose before my subconscious brain takes over. So if you will train yourself and create a new habit of just breathing, deep breath. Think of it as a belly breath. Breathe into your belly, and that calms That brings awareness and focus, and then you can make a good decision based on truth, what you do want. What it does is it moves you instead of just reacting and jumping off the bandwagon, letting that elephant go off the cliff with you on it. In that breath, you harness the power of your subconscious mind, and it moves you from reacting to responding, which is exactly how you want to do. You want to respond. What is it that you want to say? What is it that you really do want to create in your life? So you get to harness the powers of your subconscious mind by harnessing the power of your habits. And remember that the subconscious mind only says yes. Now, the next four and we'll be talking about these more in our subsequent shows, is that the subconscious mind does not recognize judgment. There is no judgment in that subconscious mind. My subconscious doesn't care if I eat the brownie or if I eat the whole pan. Doesn't matter. There's no judgment. Also, the subconscious mind does not recognize negatives. If I tell you right now, whatever you do, please do not think about the pink elephant that's in the driveway. What do you think about? Ah, the pink elephant. Of course, because the subconscious mind does not recognize negatives. It only recognizes things in pictures, which that brings me to another law of the subconscious mind, is that it only thinks in pictures. Some of us are more visual, some of us are more mathematical and word oriented and facts and figures, actual figures, numbers. But the mind is creating a word picture. Some of you, when I say apple, you actually see an apple in your mind. But you get to know that's only like 20%. The rest of us, we put a word picture together of what the apple looks like. It's red. Sometimes it's green. Sometimes it's on a tree, right? We get this word picture, but regardless whether it's a visual picture or it's a word picture, the subconscious mind only grabs hold of the noun. And we'll talk more about that. Now, this brings me to my fifth law of the subconscious. The first law is it only says yes. There's no judgment, no negatives. It doesn't recognize negatives. It only thinks in pictures. And fifth, it cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined. And I'll do a whole show just on that the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined. So what we imagine eventually becomes real. We create and manifest in our lives all the time things that we don't want. And for me, for years, it was working very, very well for me on the negative side. Every morning I get up and, oh my gosh, it's going to be another bad day. I have to do with this, blah, 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 kids, blah, 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 right? Well, the truth is that I was creating all of that, not knowing it, that my elephant brain was taking off and headed off the cliff. When you recognize that subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. And that, my friends, is why hypnosis works. Because as we harness the power of the subconscious mind and we create pictures in the subconscious mind of what we really do want, then all of these laws begin working for us instead of against us, and we can create the life that we've always wanted. Now, I'm going to leave you with one tip. This is my favorite tip. Think in your mind 10 times as you fall asleep at night, because what you think about at night is what your brain processes all night long and feeds the elephant. And if you go to bed thinking about the really bad day that you just had, now all that information gets filed into a file called How to Have a Bad Day. And the next day, you're even more bound to have another bad day. But just by going to bed at night, and as your fingers touch your pillow and you prepare for sleep, you repeat in your mind 10 times every day in every way, I get better and better. Repeated 10 times as you fall asleep and your head touches your pillow. Oh, every day in every way, I get better and better. Now, you had the very same bad day. Nothing changed in that bad day. But now, your brain is working for you instead of against you. You have now giving your brain a problem. And that's what our brains love to do. Our brains love to solve problems. That's why we have a brain, is to solve problems. Let it work for you while you sleep. So when you sleep and you go to bed tonight, repeat in your mind, every day in every way, I get better and better. Now every experience of your life has meaning and purpose and value and becomes a learning experience. And then the next day, guess what? You'll be instantly a little bit better. And you compound that over time, and it equals many good days, many good weeks, many good months, years, and an amazing life. Just by doing that one thing, if you'll make that a habit, your life will be totally different in a year or 5 years from now. How do I know? Because I know. Anyway, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, my name is Jenny Lynn McKinnon, and have fun imagining your life and have a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful day.